Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are busy with Surah Yasin, the heart of the Quran, chapter number 36. And we are busy with quite a long section comprising 20 verses, verses 48 to 68. And we know in total there are 83 verses, right? So we need to complete this section before we come to the last section of Surah Yasin. This is page number 405 of volume 7 of Ma'arif al-Quran by Maulana Mufti Muhammad Shafi Rahmatullah Alayhi and Maulana Mufti Muhammad Taqi Uthmani Rahmatullah Alayhi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of them abundantly, right? And we are busy with verse number 56. But let's just go back to the one before that, because now we are talking about the people in paradise and the joy that the people in paradise will have, right? So next in verse 56, hum wa ar'ajuhum azwaj. So they and their spouses. So in paradise you'll be with your spouses. So the word azwaj, right? As used here include the Hurul Ain of Jannah as well as the wives of the mortal world. So remember, at many places in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the believers the good news that they will get the Hurul Ains as well as the wives. So the discussion is as follows, and there are some people, like when you read some of the comments in various types of discussion to do with paradise, and some of the ulama give their various opinions and answers, and there are some people who say, you know what, I'm happy with my wife. And the wife says, I'm happy with my husband. I don't need nobody else. You will be with those whom you love. If you're happy with your wife, you're happy with your wife. Other people, instead, they want their wife and they also want the Hurul Ains. Right? And remember that there's no argument, there's no fighting. Because you must remember the size of one tent, the size of your palace in Jannah al-Firdaus. The hadith says it is 60 miles by 60 miles by 60 miles high. So it is 100. Now think of wherever you are staying, whether you are staying in South Africa or you're staying in London or you're staying in Australia or in America or in Russia, wherever. 120 kilometers, your size of your house made out of one pearl is 160 kilometers long by 160 kilometers wide by 160 kilometers high. Now think of the house where you're staying in at the moment. We don't talk in terms of kilometers, we talk about meters. 10 meters by 10 meters is 100 square meters. 20 meters by 20 meters is 400 square meters, right? Some people have a 1,000 square meter house and they say, hey, that's a big house. Some people have a 5,000 square meter house. Hey, that's big. But this is not even square meters. This is 120 kilometers by another 120 kilometers. That means the size of your house, think of it as follows, is the entire city of Pretoria and the entire city of Johannesburg. From Pretoria to Johannesburg and everything in between, right up to Alberton on that side and right up to Krugersdorp on that side, that whole area is your house. With 100 kilometers high. You got how many stories? I don't know how high it is. That's just one house. That means that if you have a wife in every corner of each house, because then you will have a family in every corner of that tent of pearl, there will be no fighting, no argument, because they won't see each other's face. It's like one day you're in Pretoria, next day in Johannesburg, so no one is going to fight with each other, right? So please remember. Now, we also know when you talk about marriage difficulties and marriage conflicts, some people have difficulties in their marriage, and that is the reason why there's also the Hurul Ain. So there's no difficulties, no domestic disputes, and then the wives are there, the Hurul Ains are there, there's no jealousy, there's no animosity, and everyone is living nicely, right? So when you are saying that they and their spouses, the word spouses includes not only your wives of the world, but also the Hurul Ain. The word yadda'un appearing in verse 57, walahum ma yadda'un, is a derivation of the word da'wa, which means to call or to invite. That is, the thing the people of Jannah will call or wish to have will come to them. The Quran has not used the word yes alone. They ask at this place because having something after having asked for it is also a sort of exertion because you don't want to ask. It's very difficult to ask. Even in the dunya, you want to ask someone for help or ask someone in case you're going through financial difficulty or you need to get a lift, go somewhere. To ask someone is a great difficulty. So in paradise, there's no such thing as asking. Something the Jannah will be free from. In fact, it will be a place where everything needed will be ready and present. So let us say you're sitting in Jannah, you're sitting in your house, and now all of a sudden you need to go for a drive. You want to ask someone, can you just take me to the shop? While you are just thinking about it, the car will be there and the driver will be in the car. Your limousine will be there. And your butler will come to you and say, sir or madam, your car has arrived. And you say, no, but I was just thinking about it. You see, as you think about it, Allah has fulfilled it for you. You don't even have to ask anybody. Then you are relaxing and you're eating popcorn. All of in your brain, you say, you know what, I'm a hell of a list for some laka biryani, or I want a toasted cheese sandwich. I'm just in a mood for that, but you don't have to ask anyone now to go to the kitchen and prepare it for you. So while you are sitting there and you are just daydreaming, all of a sudden, the servants come to those young youth that look like pearls. They will come to you with a tray and they will say, here's your toasted cheese sandwich, and here's your biryani, and here's your prawn curry and rice, and here's your watermelon. And you will say, I was just thinking about it. How did you know? So this is the beauty of Jannah, that even if you just have to think about it, you don't have to ask. You don't have to press the bell to say, let me just call the staff now that I need something to cook, or I'm really in a mood to go for a holiday. So the minute that thought just comes to you to say, I really want to go to the beach, I want to go suntan a little bit on the beach, all of a sudden in your garden, a private helicopter will come, a private jet will land there, and they'll say, right, come, your bags are packed, we're taking you for holiday. And you'll say, but how did you know? This is Jannah. So the minute you think you're going to go for a holiday, your tickets are booked, your passport, everything. In fact, in paradise, there's no passport control. You are there, your passport there is La ilaha illallah. So the minute you are just thinking about going to the Mediterranean, maybe you want to go to Zanzibar or you go for a holiday, immediately your private helicopter comes there, the limousine is waiting there, they put you in there, they say, don't worry, your bags are packed. And in the plane, meanwhile, the hairdresser is there, they're sorting your hair out, the beautician is giving you manicure and pedicure, and there they're feeding your best of food is there on the plane. By the time you land, you're looking tip top, your best of clothes are there, your hair is made up, your manicure, pedicure, everything is made up, and by the time you will land not in any other hotel, you don't have to pay any hotel fee, you've got another house there by the beachfront, because Allah through His mercy gives you another house by the beachfront, right? So you don't have to pay rental. So you arrive, your helicopter lands in another house, and then there you'll find everything you want. Then you can go to the beach, you can go and enjoy. And that is why in paradise you don't have to ask for anything. Everything is there available for you. There's no sweating there. You don't have to ask for money. You're okay, do I have money to go for holiday? Now the minute you finish there, the beachfront, you now decide, hey, I want to go to Walt Disney World. Or I want to go to that place. I want to go to, immediately they'll say, yes sir, your helicopter is ready. It's all fueled. Right, where do you want to go now? I want to go to Spain. I want to go here. I want to go Portugal. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Europe. They say, yes, sir, your plane is ready. Your limousine is ready. Your car is ready. Right, let's go. So immediately it's done. Imagine you are always young. You are fit. You are healthy. And there's no shortage of anything. And there's no boredom about anything. The paradise is about your imagination. What you just think about, the malaika are already there with what you have thought about. You don't have to ask anybody. Because as what the tafsir here says, that asking is an exertion because it's difficult to ask. So you see, the Quran has not used the word yes alone. They asks. They don't have to ask. Because having something after having asked for it is also exertion. It's a great difficult to ask. So something or Jannah will be free from. You don't have to ask anything in Jannah. It's already there. The minute the thought comes into your brain, it's already there. You think of it, you say, hey, the thought goes in your brain, hey, you know what, I would like to have that lacquer designer bag or shoes. Boom, you open your cupboard and it's there. Immediately, you want a nice bottle of perfume, Montal or any other perfume or Aramis. Boom, it's there. You don't have to ask anybody for anything. In fact, it will be a place where everything needed will be ready and present. Right? Everything you desire. Anything you can even think of, it will be there. Stay well, look after yourself. Join me in the next episode. Alhamdulillah. We'll continue with verse number 58.